welcome everyone. I didn't catch anyone else speaking some rubbish before hitting the live button. Hello everyone, welcome to Wobbly Player Syndrome, a Warhammer 40k podcast, episode 56. So if you haven't worked that out by now, what are you doing? Come, listen to us. We're very exciting. Trust me. So here we are. My head's a bit still foggy because I've been suffering from the wonderful Nurgle disease that's going around, so I'm going to do my best. We are missing some key people as well, but we do have a special guest, and I'm very excited. We cross paths a lot during our Twitch streams. We finally got her here to talk about what she's doing, the madness that she does. It's a Mango Smasher. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good today. How are you?
I'm super. Woo! Don't do that. That hurts my head. Right. Of course, we do have the other two regular people. We've got very casual Adam.
I'm sitting sideways today.
And we have safe for work Mark.
Hey, everybody.
Look at that. That sounded professional, that one. He's been saving that up. So it is a bit late one. We're a week later than normal. That's because Adam and I were at PAX last week. Thanks, PAX, for the gift of Nurgle that you gave me, but it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. So we are delayed, so I hope everyone can join us still and enjoy this big episode. I think I'm going to ramble more than usual because my head is not working, so I will rely on you three to stop me.
That's okay. I mean, we are ramblomatic.
Yeah. I was on a stream the other night and I had to explain to them what rambling was because they didn't quite get it. Apparently it's this very Australian thing. It's like, that can't be right. People ramble across the world. Surely.
Yeah.
I'd probably just call it different things.
Yeah, call it different things. Excuse me. So, we've got Mango Smasher here because she has a new challenge coming up in 2023 and we're going to talk about that. But first we're going to get out through our usual stuff with a bit of a twist because we don't have Radio Mike here. So we're relying on someone else to give us our new releases of this month. And Mark has put his hand up. Basically, he stood forward and we all stood back. So, Mark, let's get these new releases out of the way for us, will you?
Since I've been voluntold, yes. Well, I mean, we've got to open up with the big one, Leagues of Votann, them dropping, and subsequently probably losing, what? How much of their worth almost instantly after a couple of days. But we won't get into that. So other stuff that seems to have dropped, that there's not a whole lot here. A lot of it's very previewy type stuff because we've had Warhammer Day. But they did drop some new tools. And apparently they're not good.
So there's the clipper, the knife, the
mold line remover, and a drill.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, they look kind of shiny, but
you got to wonder how much they can improve a mold remover.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the handles and stuff, they do. I could see people finding out how flimsy they are. So
yeah, the cutters look questionable.
Yeah,
fine detail cutters, I'd say.
Yeah, and that scalpel looks like the kind of thing that you would just open yourself up on very easily, and wind up with like a broken tip in your shoulder or something. But yeah. Aside from that, there's looks like there was
the Black Templar model for the model of the day, Warhammer Day, the one taking down the orc.
With the orc. It's for a book release, that is.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had previews for all the new guard stuff. We've had upgrade stuff, upgrade sprues for Horus Heresy. What else have we got in here?
That's all right.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a dearth. Normally, Mike would just look in his big box of goodies that arrived this month and basically say, "Oh yeah, that stuff came out."
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I think next month we'll leave it to Michael doing the new releases. No, that was a good effort. Well done, mate. Woo! All right. So, normally we do talk about hobby progress, battle reports, and stuff like that. We're going to switch it around a bit because we want to, in our hobby progress, this is where we're going to talk about what Mango is up to. So, we'll talk about battle reports. Anyone had a game lately?
Nope.
Just the 2v2, I think it was. That's the only game we actually had.
That is the 2v2 that's just popped up. That was. Go ahead, Adam. Speak.
Well, I think it was a very quick notice to anyone wanting to come around, and we ended up organising that. It was Elder versus Elder and Blood Angels. Really strange combination, and sorry for the cat walking by. With, I think it was Chaos Space Marines and your Chaos Knights.
It was.
So it was 2,000 points per person, so 4,000 points, and it went for a very long time, but it was actually quite fun for the time that it was. And at the end of the day, the greater team won.
Yeah,
Chaos.
I did. Oh, yeah. Chaos did outperform them, yes. It was fun. I got to take my Chaos Knights out for the first run. I made a few mistakes, but yeah. Bulldust is online. He's just said boo. But, yeah.
Yes,
Bulldust
unfortunately,
is one of the Blood
Bulldust-
Angel players, yes.
Bulldust brought his Blood Angels, and yeah, I think he did enjoy that night as well.
Oh, there you go. Ended up being a 4-point win to the Forces of Chaos. Scoreboard came up. That was very convenient because I couldn't remember.
4-point win to the loyalists of Chaos.
That's right. So I did get to run nights out. It was very fun. It definitely inspired me to keep doing them and things like that. But then, study, interstate, sick. I haven't touched anything really. It's been great. Yeah, so that's the only battle report we have. Have we got the dancing Bulldust?
We've moved our monthly games to an entire month, so it's up to whenever we can get the games in.
Fair enough. So
September's difficult though. There's like birthdays everywhere.
It's only one that you need. That's mine. Sorry, Mark. I know yours is in there too. But you're not talk like an international talk like a pirate day. So yeah. Until you get that, it's just not worth it. So let's go straight into hobby progress. As I said, I haven't done much. I've started working on some Rubik Marines. They've got the nice blues down, first layer of blue. Nothing completed as yet. I'm now moving on to doing the weathering for the Knights, which I'm looking forward to. I just found out I'm missing some stuff, and because I've been in isolation, I haven't been able to go out and get it. So it's awesome. Yes, I thought about, my friend Adam lives around the corner. But
You could have told me.
I know. I thought I was going to be free as of yesterday until the wife tested positive. I went, well, son of a... So, yeah, it's good.
Always the way. Always the way.
Always the way. And we're just waiting for our youngest one. He's still... Give him, 3 days when everyone's recovering, then he'll test positive.
Yes.
That's how it works. I do have some stuff for Mike. He's put some stuff together for his heresy, and he's still doing some blood angels, dark angels. But he's been still putting a lot of stuff for his heresy together. I'll talk about him while he's not here. It's great. Anthony, he's posted up some more Redemptor Dreadnoughts. I thought they were done last month, but apparently not. So there's the nice golden one in the middle. That's new. Bulldust will be able to comment in a moment and chat. Hey, why has not chat come up? Chat's there. I guess that's it for hobby progress. That was exciting. Not a lot of hobby this month. Not a lot of games this month. But we'll fix that next week.
Mm-hmm.
But now we get to talk about really cool stuff. So, today's episode, this month's episode, oh my god, I'm struggling. Regular listeners will think this has been rambling as normal. But no, there's a twist to it. It's good. Mob rules, right? We're talking about large-scale armies, those hordes of orcs or those hordes of tyranids and things like that. And who better knows horde armies than Mango Smasher? I found, So I stumbled upon Mango Smasher. I think I was part of a raid over to her Twitch channel, and she had this mountain of plastic. I went, what are you doing? And it was just common cause. Oh yeah, it's 1 million models. That's nothing new.
Yeah, it's not nothing new. Think I'm at maybe like 13,000 models now in a one-bed apartment.
Is it? They're just in that one bed. That's all there. There's no other room in the apartment.
Well, it's currently in my front room, in my kitchen, in my bedroom, in my boiler cupboard. I think the hallway's the only thing that doesn't have anything in it.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just showing off some of your stuff that was on your Instagram at the moment while I have a chat, so people get an idea what you do. That's not always 1,000 models at once. Excuse me.
It depends on my mood.
So you love challenging yourself to these large painting challenges.
Yes, I'm very well known for. People call it insanity. I call it's just fun, and then worry about the consequences later on down the line.
I think one of the first things I did comment on your stream was, how do you keep your sanity? Painting the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Good. That was good. Glad we talked. Thanks for coming on there.
This would be where you would bullshit some kind of answer of, I use this as my kind of meditation technique, and I just zone out to some music and do this.
Technically, it's a type of therapy, just not your average day therapy. Painting thousands of models in X amount of time.
What was the last? How big was the last challenge you did?
Last challenge was, we thought it was 20,000 points. It turned out it was actually a bit more. It was looking at 2,300 points, and that was painted in 57.5 hours. I did sleep maybe an hour, like maybe 6 hours.
Just slack.
And that model count was 1,570.
Wow.
The previous ones I've done, I can paint 2,000 points anywhere between 100 to 150 models every 10 hours, and the other ones I've done is 360 chain rasps in 10 hours. All by brush, no airbrush either, I like to point out. I do it all by hand.
That is amazing.
Wow.
And that's based and everything?
Base, layered, washed, relayered, highlighted.
That's one heck of an assembly line.
Yes.
Yeah. I've got another project we're working on for another charity event that's 30,000 points we've got 2 weeks to do that in that one. So
you say how many people are involved in this?
Just me.
By saying it doesn't sound as overwhelming, you see.
Yeah, if I say we, it means I can sort of convince people it's not just me. But no, it will be just me. Obviously, Red Belly's seen the photos of the Orc army, of what it is, and the blueprints. So yeah, I somehow still miscounted, and I'm 400 orcs short. So, but it's just rookie numbers.
Let's put a mirror behind a squad.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, large armies are my sort of forte. I've owned several large armies.
How did you get yourselves into that sort of scenario? What drove you? I mean, my first army was orcs, and I had a lot of troops, and I did Imperial Guard, and I did a very troop-heavy Imperial Guard. But that's just insane. I think I have 20,000 points in an army total over years.
I think at the minute, between 3 of my armies, I'm looking at around about, for just 3 of them, 80 to 90,000 points. But then I own all of the 40k armies. I own all Age of Sigmar armies, 3 Heresy armies, 2 Bolt Action armies, 8 like the Kings of War, Vanguard armies. I own an entire Armada fleet. I then, on top of that, own 5 Dead Zone Warpath and Firefly armies. So just your casual gaming.
And,
Yeah, yeah.
well, see, the thing is that the amount of expenditure there is probably about the same as we've spent. They just don't pay Australia tax.
Yeah, the last order I done was 2,500 odd. But an average order a month is for me is anywhere between 600 to £900 a month, average.
Yeah, okay, so that's what, about 1,200 Australian.
Something like that, yeah. Every month.
See, the thing is that we would spend that and only get about, what, half
boxes of
what you
Terminators.
would
Yeah.
get.
Yeah, I think the Orc army is something like close to 1,800 models that I'm currently doing. So
have you considered a move to Norway?
not yet.
Because
But
they
I
do
am-
get a discount on GW stuff.
Yes.
It's like the cheapest place to get Warhammer, apparently.
I already get 25% off all my Games Workshop stuff when I want to buy it.
Well, you'd be a VIP customer with that kind of expenditure.
Oh, it definitely would be.
Yeah, just don't ask about the tools. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, all about the Tamiya tools for me.
So, what was the first Horde army you started? And you just start, I like this model, I like this model, and just kept going?
So I only started doing Horde armies. So the collection I have at this current minute has only taken me 3 years to do. Nearly 3 years. The first Horde army I done was, well, it was actually 2 because I done it at the same time: Stormcast and Nighthaunt. So Stormcast, I have 3 of the chambers fully maxed out, max squad sizes, so it's large anyway. And then my Nighthaunt, as sort of a scale to just to get an idea, there's 1,000 chain rasps alone in my Nighthaunt without like Lady Orlinda, all the other units as well. And then after that, I went to Necrons and Imperial Fists, and I bought 11 sets of Indominus Necrons. I actually bought 9 boxes myself. So that's that army.
That's an interesting thing there, is that you normally don't consider Imperial Fists as a Horde army.
No, you don't. If it's an army, I'll hoard it. I'll just turn it into a horde and I'll just watch it cry.
I appreciate that.
I also hoarded my Beast of Chaos, so Beastman. That has around about 100 Bulgors in it alone. So, and then after that, I then moved game systems. I went to Kings of War, and then decided to buy a 25,000 point Northern Alliance army, and then on top of that, a 6,000 point Brazilian army. And now I'm painting 30,000 points of the new orcs, and I have currently on my table a bunch of halflings that are all demonic.
Demonic halflings. I like it.
But yeah, I have a lot of armies, and my first ever large purchase was my Thousand Suns, and I went into Forge World, and it took 6 members of staff to get my order sorted. And it took about half an hour, and I'd done it before a tournament I attended, and it ended up being $3,000. And the manager came over and, I'll deal with this because it's a lot of money. I was like, okay. And he went, okay, he goes, you want to just pop your card in? I went, no, I just gave him an envelope of £3,000 in £10 notes, and sat and watched him counting it out, and he was not happy. Because a staff member already started putting it through, and the manager walks over and says, no, I'm taking this order away from you. And you've got 6 members of staff just stood there going, this isn't fair. And that was Thousand Suns. So I have like 100 base marines, 50 Sekhmet, around about 20 contemptors, Magnus, Araman, Almond, whatever his name is. The other character, I don't have like a Siren Dreadnoughts, Castlak robots, heavy weapon teams, the full lot, apothecaries, sorcerers and Terminator armor, Tyrus. But no vehicles apart from dreadnoughts.
I was going to say, with the Horde army, you don't tend to have many vehicles. It is definitely infantry driven.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think you can hoard tanks.
Imperial Guard, they do tanks and flyers.
Yeah. So this is you winding down these 3,000 miniatures and stuff. I'm just trying to figure out, how do you relax? I did, what was the one you're preparing and you're drilling out the arms and all the orcs and you're using the power drill? I said, how are you doing this and staying sane? And then I realised I've been sitting there watching for half an hour going, it's very mind-numbing and relaxing.
Yes, it definitely is. But no, like for me, just to relax, I generally don't. I'm just always on the go, always doing hobby, and then I'm planning new projects essentially. Because I've got a few new ones lined up for next year. So.
Yes, let's get to that. Let's get to that new one that you're talking about. You've got even a little little video to tease us with it as well, which is exciting. Mm. So I'm going to run that. So you guys got to be quiet because I forgot to put the mute button down for a default, but you love it. I'm going to flick over. Well, there you go. Nice little preview there, nice little teaser. Now, I did notice that says, how many points will it be? You'll have to find out. Now, I know, but are we telling people yet?
Yeah, so we actually announced it a few weeks later. So it is around. It was supposed to be 30,000 points, but I forgot about PMC count, and it's now turned into 35,000 points.
Nothing like small growth of 5,000 points.
I mean,
just go big, go home.
Yeah, it's true.
Here I was complaining last Christmas when my 2,000 points turned into 3.5. I went, oh my god, that's too much. Yeah, I feel your pain.
This didn't even start as a 2,000 or like 5,000 point army. We just went straight as it is, straight in. Why not?
This is insane. And did we know the army we're allowed to talk about? We've seen boxes of and boxes and boxes. Let's see if I can find that.
So it's a Riftforge Orcs from Mantic Games.
Yep. And so you'll see some pictures there. That's the best one. Look at all that plastic, people who are viewing. People of the podcast, I'd like to describe it to you. It's a box and box of plastic and plastic and boxes. And
It's how you would imagine 30,000 points of orcs to look if it was all boxed and not quite fully built.
yeah.
Wait till you see it on the table when we start getting it all sort of like we've started the footprint. I've actually now got someone 3D printing me a bunch of bases as we speak, and it's something like close to 200 bases they're 3D printing me for this project.
That's
All that
huge.
like 3 mil thick, sort of. They've got all the correct measurements and stuff, so it's going to be interesting. But yeah, it's a bunch of orcs and giants, cyclopses, manticores with wings, like a dragon, shrines.
Yeah.
There's quite. I'm missing 3 models in the entire range now as of today.
Ah, what are you doing? Step up your game. Come on.
Well, they got released after I made the purchase, and I actually turned and went, I'm pretty pissed about this. Because I released the specific giants, and I already had 3 giants, and I'm like, oh great, now I have to buy the new giants. Oh, I'm going to need at least 3 of those to like set it all off. And it's like, oh, they've got the other character out. Oh, I need to buy that as well. Oh wait, there's a monstrous infantry, like a monster. Oh great, I'm going to need at least 10 of those to match up with all my other monstrous stuff. So
I'm starting to see where the other 5,000 points came from.
so the other 5,000 points came from PMC, so preferred model count. So you can spend the points for an example, a 20-man unit, but you only have to put 15 models on a base.
Oh, okay, yep. Because the base will still
Right,
represent.
So yeah, the easiest way to think of it is old school fantasy rank and file.
Yep.
But there is no. You can have something that's a height 3 or something that's a height 2, but you could, if you really wanted to, put a character model on a 6 foot high base, but it's still only going to be a height 2 or 3. So your bases don't make any difference. So you can go like full scenic. I've seen people do like houses on them and stuff like that. I've done a lot of graveyard stuff for some of my stuff.
So its own little
Almost
carries
diorama type stuff.
Yeah. But yeah. But there's a few twists with these orcs. There's a few of them. There's a few twists.
Going to say in that little promo you said you're going above the tabletop.
Yes.
What does that mean? You're going to be suspended from the ceiling.
So normally when we do the speed paints, we get to like a tabletop sort of standard, just to make sure we can get it done quick and simple. Yep. Whereas this time, I'm actually going to be putting a lot more detail in it. So all the orcs are going to be human skin, for an example. So that's a lot of skin, and we're going to be doing a lot more detail work. So yeah.
Okay.
But there's also freehand and it's being done as well, so that's going to be interesting because I've never freehand and I'm not going to until the challenge.
That really sounds like you've put this on hard mode.
Yes and no.
I'm just going to go with yes.
I think on the 25, the last one we done, we ended up having to complete a model every 2 to 3 minutes. Something ridiculous like that. It's all about planning, schedules, making sure you have it all properly sorted.
That's crazy. And you are doing this for a challenge. You are raising money for a charity.
Yes.
We should probably talk about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Youth Power? Did I get that right?
Yes, it's PWR. So what they do, they are a UK-based charity, as far as I'm aware. I don't know if they're in any other places. But they are a charity that helps young people get out of drinks, drugs, gangs, off the streets for homelessness, and they provide anything from education with colleges or stuff like that. Also housing. Give opportunities, and I've been with them now since last year.
Okay.
So I've been with them nearly over a year now. And yeah, I've met the owner, the person who runs the actual charity face to face and on Zoom calls. and I always do my part as well. So I always, if I see them in the street, always drop them some money, do donates myself, because I've been in that situation where I've been involved in that stuff, and it's not nice to be in that situation. So it's very close to home. That charity is for me.
It's not one I'm familiar with here in Australia, but I did read up about it, and yeah, it does sound like a really worthwhile charity. I don't know if we've got a version of it down this way, but it's great to see. You've done charities before. This one looks really good. Mental health being very, very front and center for a lot of people.
Definitely.
Yeah, which is great. So how do people get involved? Do we have to wait?
So as soon as the challenge happens, there will be a link provided for on the day, for the 2 weeks. There will be Facebook posts, Instagram posts with updates and stuff. And it's sort of, I'm working with a team where we can get this all sorted and get it all properly planned out. So yeah, as soon as we've got links up and running, we'll be posting. I've also contacted other people for extra additional promotional stuff and bringing people on. We're now just planning each day, going, okay, we have to get like base coats done by this time, etc. Right, meal, you got to eat at this time, drink at this time. Right, coffee intake. We need to get. It's sort of like we're going really in depth about it all.
Everyone's going to the toilet at the same time. That's going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's sort of, we're trying to plan it as much as we can to be as safe as possible.
Yeah.
So because we've only got a few more months left to finish everything. So it could become an earlier than we initially thought, because we were looking at June, July time, but it may be a bit earlier, depending on progress.
Okay.
How many? Just so I could, how many tins of primer would you go through for 35,000 points?
For the 20,000 point mark one we did, I went through 2.
Wow, that's probably like 4 models for me.
They got a different metric system over there, clearly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like,
it's more because I don't actually buy Games Workshop or Army Paint or anyone like that. I actually use my local DIY shop, buy their primer, because it's where it's grey. It's easier for me to see due to my colour blindness and stuff as well.
Oh, so you're a painting guru and colourblind, and you do. Oh, well, I'm just going to quit hobbying. I can't compete with this. I've got no excuses anymore.
But yeah, no, because I've got like the colour blindness, I've got my retinal damage in my eyes, so vision's normally blurred anyway. And then, yeah, I always find cheaper sort of methods. So I make my own texture paints, I make my own washes. I use the spray cans I buy are like £5 a spray can, so I'm getting 2 for the same price as a Games Workshop one and getting double the value.
Yep.
And I can get it in any sort of color. I can get like 3 different types of primer, all the types of colors, metallics, chrome, glitter ones, the full lot. So
it is great when you can find the alternative. We've got one down here which I use as opposed to both Army Paint and stuff. Yeah, half the price. It's going, oh my god, so much better.
Definitely.
Yeah. Sorry, GW, we'll still take a sponsorship.
But yeah, so we've already started priming everything. We've gone through 1 can at the minute, and that's done a giant around about. We're looking at 60 Cyclopses, 60 Chariots, 10 like monstrous sort of like infantry, and then we're looking at another 30 characters so far from 1 can.
Buddy Mini has joined us in the chat, and he's saying for Hello Surface Prime every time.
I'm surprised you aren't using like the Mr. Bean primer method with, just put a bomb in a paint tin and just let it get them all in one hit.
There is a trick with it, especially if you do horde armies. So what you do is build it all up together, and you put it into you position it in a way that all your overspray hits the other models, so then you're reducing spray. Yeah. So actually, it may seem like you're using more, but you're actually making it go longer.
Yeah. You've inspired Buddy Minis there, Mark. He's going to go try the paint tin bomb.
But yeah, it's all about positioning and just sort of like playing, not so much playing it safe, but playing smart.
But how do you get so many minis on those GW sticks?
Yeah, see, I use lollipop sticks and like the sticks that dentists use to put your tongue down. I use those and I just pop them on because it's easy to snap off. It means I can work on the basin as well at the same time.
Fair enough. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I cannot wait. And we've got the link up. We'll put the link in, excuse me, wherever we can so you can still see it. youthpwr.org for the listeners, because obviously I can't write it down. And there you go. We're going to have a quick break and then we'll get into Horde armies as a whole. I think we have an expert here, which is going to be great. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah.
My little 2,000 points orc army is like left to shame. 8,000, sorry.
I'm at like 40,000 points of orcs now with all the orc armies put together, maybe more.
We're going to have an outbreak while we collect ourselves. Okay, no, we're okay. Our 5,000 points is fine, even if it's not all painted. It's fine. Back in a minute, folks.
We are Rollers, and we have the games for you. Be it board games, card games, dice games, or party games. You name it, and we have it. Find us online at rollersboardgames.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at rollersboardgames.
From acoustic to distortion, Storyboard Concept is music that's honest, relaxing, and full ball rockin' music. Follow Colin at storyboardconcept.bandcamp.com. And we're back, so I hope you had fun running off to try and get your refreshment in that quick time. I'm hoping to refresh some of our adverts, but they're still worthy. You should still buy all the games from Rollers Board Games. You should still listen to all the music at Storyboard Concept. Do it. Do it now. So, mob rules. Mob rules? Mob mentality. What was it? Mob rules?
You haven't got it.
Mob rules, I think.
Mob rules. It is mob rules.
Something like that.
All right.
Mob rules.
We're super professional.
Mob rules level hate.
Oh, we're going to love, right? We figure we have to talk about mobs and large swarm armies because we've got the queen of swarm armies apparently here who's just put us all to shame, who's painted one army that's put all our armies together and we're almost caught up to...
Combined.
Yeah.
To half the first one.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So doing like mobs and horde armies, it is a love-hate relationship though, even for myself.
Yeah.
My bank hates it. I love it.
That's a good point. Yeah. So I've often said that my first army that I purchased was orcs, and it was, I think I had the Gorka Morka boxes was where the vehicles came from, but all the boys came from several boxes before that, and yeah, there was a lot of boys, a lot of them, a lot of green.
Yeah.
Far too much green, because then I went salamanders, because that's smart.
Yeah, that's
Well,
not
you've
smart.
already got the team, so...
Well, I went Catachan after that. My Catachan are blue. I was not painting another thing green. But I love having infantry heavy armies. So having the orc boys just run across the table. Even when my Catachans, I think I didn't find my first tank till very late, very late. Now I don't leave home without them, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
I think I only own like 3 tanks in my entire collection.
That's crazy.
And that's repulsors. I own 3 of them for my Alpha Legion.
Oh, are they Alpha Legion? So we should probably start for people listening. What defines a swarm army? Because if you say swarming, it's Tyranids. There's swarms, but you don't actually have to have a swarm army of Tyranids, do you, Mark?
No, you don't. I flew in the face of that convention, actually. When I started my Tyranids, I went, no, I'm not doing big bugs. I'm going to put 40 Gene Stealers on the table, even though that is completely the insane thing to do. But apparently it's not that bad in light of
I was gonna say,
recent
Mango's
things
going,
we've heard.
I knocked that over while I'm making a cup of tea. Yeah.
The problem that I had is that I hate painting. So of course, I start an army that relies on mass painting stuff, and I mean, I did knuckle down and get through a lot of what I've almost painted every Tyrannid I own, but I still struggle to call it a proper horde. I mean, I've still got under 30 gaunts and gants, so can it really be classed as a horde at that point? You know what I mean?
If you've got multiple units of 30 each, yes, I reckon.
I think as well, like, it's how you decipher it being a horde or a swarm as well. Like, a horde or a swarm doesn't have to be like maybe 10 or 20 models. To some people, that could be a lot of models, like 10 of one model or 20 of one model. So it all goes on your own personal perception on the armies.
Yeah. Custodians are not swarm.
Whereas,
Well,
like,
Oh, the way you play without bikes, it's a swarm, though.
I don't know. I mean, if you get 100,000 points of them, I guess that could be considered a swarm. But
I just call that a proper tabletop game.
Well, traditionally, with the swarm armies are orcs, but even with the newer codexes, a lot of vehicles have been added, so they don't seem to have as many boys on the table. It's very flies against what I think an orc army is, but that's me.
Yeah, see, for me, orcs are boys and boys and boys, just pure, just groups, just going for it.
Yeah.
The 30-man squads should be still there, and they're like even the chaos demons now. With the new codex, you cannot have anything more than 10 in your troop choice.
that's what got me about the Gene Stealers, actually, with the recent Tyranids Codex. You can only have what? I think it's 10 Gene Stealers per unit now.
Yeah, and how is that going to be a horde army? A swarm army.
Yeah.
As an Imperial Guard, that's a swarm. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need 10 of those running at us.
Because, I mean, I was going from fielding 2 units of 20 and just going across the table and scaring people into obliterating them within, like, half a turn. To now my swarm is, 20 guys, and I feel like the hordes are almost in danger these days.
I think they're from like with the codex and stuff. I think they're trying to nullify the hordes, so then people will use other models and buy other models, so they're not just selling the same product, the boxes over and over. So what they're trying to do is limit to how many of that one unit you can take, so then they make money on the other stuff. So it forces you, without realizing, it's manipulating the system and forcing you to buy other things that you won't necessarily want to use.
Yeah.
But because you're not allowed to take more of that one unit, they've put you in a situation where you need to fill those extra points. You can't upgrade anything, so you just buy a random box. So they're manipulating the marketing system and the rule system very well.
Yeah. Well, they do that with the points revaluation as well. This unit's not being used much, they'll drop the points. This one's been overused, they'll raise the points. So increase you to charge you to buy. But it's a good point where if you are building a swarm army, if you wanted to get 40 termagants, trying to buy 40 termagants compared to any other unit. I don't know what a termagant box is. How many you get in a box?
I know. Prior to COVID, it was something like 75 Australian for a box of termagants. I can't remember how many you got in a box though.
Yeah. I think it's 10.
10,
but I could be wrong.
No, come on, Games Workshop will do like 9.
Oh, remember when Poxwalkers came in boxes of 3?
Me.
Oh, sorry, Poxwalkers came in box of 6. So wait, what am I meant to do with a box of 6 Poxwalkers? I need 10 at minimum.
It's like hot dogs and hot dog buns. You just keep buying more.
Yeah.
Makes sense in some days.
Yeah, I just rather painted over 40 poxorks. I don't ever want to see another one again, and it seems so small. But yeah.
I've got 500 poxwalkers in my Death Guard army, so I don't feel your pain there.
See, it would have probably been nice to buy them in a bigger lot than lots of 6, though.
I found a back sort of a loophole with that. I used the magazines.
Yeah.
And I knew friends that wanted the starter set when it was Ultramarines versus Death Guard, but they never wanted the Death Guard. So I would split the boxes with them. So I'd bypass the main sort of boxes, save myself money, and end up then creating my own Death Guard Dark Mechanicum army.
Nice. Yeah, the new Imperium, I think it's the last one now.
Yep.
Yeah, getting 14 Necrons for the price of the magazine. I'm going, this is insane. This is... You need a new army. These magazines are pretty good to go.
Definitely.
Alright, so what else have we got hot? Tyranids, you don't have to, but you should, because that's what you're seeing. Everyone who buys Tyranids should only be thinking Starship Troopers. That's all you should be thinking.
Well, big bugs are fun, don't get me wrong. I mean, everyone likes Godzilla. But, you've got to have the surrounding horde that sort of runs through its feet, etc., you know.
Well, not necessarily. You could afford the big bugs very easily.
You could. I mean, I guess it depends on your wallet.
Yeah, I think if you're going to hoard big bugs, then the way you would do it with that sort of way of thinking, you would go Bio Titan, and then your little bugs are actually all your Carnifexes and stuff.
Yeah.
So then you would scrap off your little one, the smaller ones. Did run Bio Titans with the Crusher Stampedes and stuff like that, all like your medium sort of size ones underneath your Bio, because then they look small.
There you go, a swarm of Carnifexes. Oh my god, that's terrifying. I've got my flashlight.
Right up until you realise that, they do kind of die pretty easy. I actually, to be honest, I haven't played since the new Codex dropped, so that's possibly a lie now.
Yeah, they are better than what they used to be.
They are very good. They are quite good now. But if you're running with like that, they're going to be more concerned and worried with a Bio Titan and ignore your other bugs. They'll want to remove that as fast as they can. So then your other bugs can then get back in, and you can then just rip them to shreds.
But I mean, one of the things I've always loved about the Horde armies is just how differently they play to something like a Space Marine army, or some of those elite type, low model count type deals.
What's a low model count?
Well, as an example, I mean, a lot of Marine armies, you're only running squads of 5.
Squads of 10.
Well, again, I mean, in a 2,000 point game, you're not really going to be running squads of 10.
If you're backing them up with vehicles and the specialties, where Mango's saying that she doesn't have any tanks, so she has lots of troops. Yeah.
Well, it's like my Alpha Legion is 3 repulsors, 50 eliminators, a couple of librarians, 4 apothecaries, and then on top of that, around about 100 infiltrators. So not the Reavers, but the other type of ones.
Yeah. It's still a different dynamic to when you're filling squads of 20 plus minis, though.
Oh yeah, it is. It can be. It just depends on. It also, like as you were saying, it depends on the army, because some armies do it better.
And they tend to not be gunline armies either.
Imperial Guard.
Imperial Guard is obviously the exception there.
Yeah.
But orcs and nids don't really sort of follow that usually, or at least not canonically anyway.
Well, no,
I was going to say, I would disagree with that, because orcs and Tyranids can do very good gun lines, because I actually play against a Tyranid player who literally just takes gun lines, just makes the Tyranid gun line and goes crazy.
I think the visual, though, of a swarm army is you just see them running at you full pelt, screaming at the top of their lungs, and that's what you want to see, and you want to be that guards from this flashlight going, why am I here?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You're thinking Starship Troopers. You're not thinking, World War One, the Somme.
Yeah. Are you saying demons can't run as well as swarmers anymore?
Demons are 10-man squads.
Yep.
Yeah. So with a limit, what's a brigade is battalion. Battalion is 6 troops choice, isn't it? So it does limit because yeah. We've got a match of Catachan versus Tempestus, and he's listing Bulldust. You're going to hear what my army list is like. But I've filled out the troop choices, but that's only 60 infantry. I was like, well, I've got more than 60 infantry. Where am I going to put the other 60 infantry? I've filled it with tanks. It's okay. I do feel that's a bit of a limitation when it comes to that. Especially if you can only run 10, a squad of 10, that's a demon squad of now 60 units as well.
And I love my, like, alright, 2,000, 3,000 points, well, not that big, but I do like the idea of the horde army, as what you played with when I was playing orcs. I'm going to charge that tank, and you just blew them all straight up. What are you going to do? The other troop's going to charge the other 30 boys, The goofiness of horde army, and you really
bleed
care.
on them till they die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep charging till you run out of
Till
bullets.
my limbs get caught in your gears, yes.
Yeah, and I think 9th edition has taken that away. That's just me.
Or even some armies are like you could used to be able to run poxwalkers for days for Death Guard, but then they changed it. It had to be 1 infantry for 1 poxwalker unit. So it got limited. I went, oh man.
And it's also they also changed the coherence as well with units because of. I'm probably one of a select few that actually used to do it a lot. We used to conquer line, match units of poxwalkers from one objective to another objective, and we've got both objectives. Or I've done it in my local GW when I played my Iron Jaws against my friend who was playing Sylvaneth. He had a Lariel. He's like, oh, my Wildwoods, you have to take dice rolls. I'm like, no, I don't, because I piled in. And they went, oh. I deliberately left my charge, so I was an inch away from his Wildwoods, and then just piled all of the Yard Boys in and just kept doing it, and eventually Ilariel died. And that was a 2-turn game because of the mission, because he had to wait by his turn 2, he could bring on the rest of his army, but my army was already on, so he's been Foot of Gort repeatedly. And then you've got Brutes and Yard Boys just going crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind that change in the coherency rule. I was never a fan of the Congo lines.
But you can still conga line. There is a way to still do it.
You can. It's just not quite as model efficient.
No, it's not as funny as seeing a maxed out unit of poxwalkers or guard or conscripts just along the line board edge. But there was another thing why they stopped that as well, was also because of deep striking armies. Because if you conquer line, you basically they're gone unless it just defeats the object of a deep strike army, because you can't call them in because of the rules of it. So yeah.
It's people like you, Mango, who breaks the system. I mean, really.
I don't know. I'm guilty of the conga line.
I've done it. I've done it the entire 8th edition, and I won all my games most of my games in 8th ed, just conga line and poxwalkers, and just winding people up. Yeah.
I'd like to have more poxwalkers. I know I said I'd never paint one again, so I'll have to use that tin bomb, I guess. But there's no point now. I just sort of go, well, when am I ever going to fit more? I might get Typhus, put him on, but he's the king of poxwalkers, but still doesn't really get to have all the poxwalkers you want.
Yeah.
So killed that off, which is great. Thanks. At Cultus, I mean, they did it with Cultus and infantry, the Imperial Guard, not the White Shields, conscripts. That was the other one that they... Yeah, it was a squad of 40, 30.
This is where the casual game comes in, because you can just go, you know what, I'm doing this, and,
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing as well. If you're not, trying to go, do tournaments and stuff, you just want casual games, me and my friends just go, we're just going to place whatever. We're ignoring that rule. but
Yeah.
we'll do all the other rules. Because it's like we want to have a game, we don't want to feel restricted, and with that rule in place, some people as a casual gamer will feel restricted.
Yeah.
With myself, where I play tournaments as well. I balance quite quickly, so as long as I'm having fun and the other person's having fun, that's all that matters to me in the game.
That is right. It's why we play, to have fun. Remember that, people,
Well,
to have fun.
Well, I have fun because I one-turn people. They don't particularly have.
They keep coming back. It's okay.
I've got one friend who's lost 119 games in a row.
Adam, what's your streak? What was your streak, I should say?
50 in a row before I started winning this year.
Yep, he's now sitting on top of the ladder, so quite a turnaround.
But it's... Even when you lose a game, you still learn a lot. Even if you win a game, you still learn a lot.
Adam learned a lot then.
Yeah.
Because the person who's lost that many games against me, he ended up doing 3 tournaments and came second place in all 3 of them.
But you're right. You do learn. This year's not been my successful year. I'm going, what am I doing different? And it's just made me think, not walking in going, oh yeah, I'll just do the same thing I've been doing for the last whatever years.
Well, I'm undefeated for 5 years, so...
Fair enough.
So like, it's...
give it Voton and see how that works, yeah.
I think it's the funniest thing is like even with friends, when people have challenged me, they're like, you can pick their army, they'll pick up in an hour and just smash you into the floor. And we had one person go, oh no they can't. And I then, okay, when you pick the army, these are my armies, and they was like, okay, we'll run your Necrons. And then I one-turned them. And he was like, I hate you so much. I was like, yeah, it's fine, it's the way the game. I said, it's all tactical.
Every time I ask the the viewers what army I should pick, they keep going guard because they know they'll lose. Stop it! I'm not asking anymore.
It's not that they'll lose; they are still in a very strong position. They are just because of like the Demon Russers, which are up saves and stuff.
Yeah.
They're very more reliant on the armor stuff now more than the infantry. But the infantry do still. One of the lists I was seeing was just like Pask and then every single type of Lehman Russ. Just in there. Just go, yeah, we'll have some fun. And then everyone else is like, no. But yeah, I think it's just like, even with how the rules are, especially with how they've limited stuff, it will affect mob armies, mob rules. But it will also benefit the non-mob armies more because then it's like they have less to deal with. So then you can tailor your lists a bit better. So it's like it's a double-edged sword. It's good for some, bad for some, but then you can't really do much about it. It's sort of like you play for fun, have fun, off you go.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it not the death of swarm armies, but you know what? I don't think you see them as much as you used to in the previous editions.
Well, I mean, 8th was really good for swarm armies for a while there.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that each kind of style winds up with its day in the sun, sort of, and then old people like us turn around and go, well, you know, it was great back in 5th, you know, like.
I've been playing now for... Crikey, how long have I been gaming for? 16 years I've been going.
Yeah.
So I've been going a while, and I've been like solid straight in. Next year is 17 years for me, so it's no, it's not. Hang on. No, it's 18 years next year. Because I started when I was 9.
Your models can finally drink.
Yeah.
But yeah, the game system's changed so much, and especially with now, like with 9th coming into 10th, like at the minute, 9th rules don't really benefit mobs. It doesn't really benefit any of the non-mob armies. It's just such a big hoo-ha now. It's not that it's not enjoyable. It's just some armies now, especially mobs, just get affected so much, and it defeats the army of what they were originally supposed to
Blast
be.
weapons, for example. You know, that's another thing. Well, I guess that's to replace the template weapons. I love template weapons.
So good.
Oh, that's so good. Everybody loved when I used them for my guard.
I still,
scatter.
because Scatter was good, yeah.
Scatter
Arc
dice.
of Fire as well.
God. Yeah, Arc of Fire. My God, it actually mattered. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I like Kings. That's why I like Kings of War, because you actually do have arcs. So you have like your front and side arcs, your rear arcs, and if you like charge into a rear arc, you get bonuses. But if it's not in that like arc view, you can't shoot it or do anything to it. It's brilliant. You have to really. I'm finding as well, wargaming is just becoming more of a. You have to think tactically more and more now, but also play safe.
Yeah, that was, I think we've talked about it before. The oversimplification of some of the things they've done, such as those arcs. It's just
I mean, it is nice not having to argue with somebody over, radians in a degree. Like
yeah,
yeah. that is a good thing.
yeah. Or is that touching the template or not? Yes, of course it is. I did it.
But I do miss vortexes scattering all over the board and just deleting stuff.
Yeah, it's fun until it happens to your stuff, and then you're like bugger.
No, I like honestly, I'd still be happy with that. I love the explosions too. I don't think explosions happen often enough.
Yeah, I love chaining explosions if you can get them.
We had that in that 2v2, didn't we? There was a couple of chains, explosions. It was beautiful. Yeah, and taking you down with me. It's great.
That said, if they happened as more often, would we be as fond of them?
I don't think so.
No. Alright, so our mob army's still good to play. You don't see them in tournaments. Transportation's going to be tough. Swarms. So I think that plays a part, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say yes. I'm still enjoying playing my nids.
Yeah.
I think as well, like, as long as you enjoy it, it doesn't matter.
I almost built my list again for orcs since it's October and October.
You got to wait till November before you do that.
What's that?
October. You can't do anything in October for orcs. You got to wait till November. Remember?
Yeah, but I was gonna give them another run because I really loved my orcs and they're really fun to play. But yeah, I still love them.
Yeah, I actually do enjoy running a heavy infantry Catachan army. I think it's fun. I don't do it as often as I used to because people have too many large vehicles coming at me the other end. But
I just run whatever. Whatever I got, let's throw it on the table. Let's go. So.
Well, there's an army I've always wanted to do is a grot army with all the grot tanks and stuff like that, and just a pure grot army.
Yeah.
Sorry, they need some run herds, of course, but I'm thinking about that and going, that's a lot of miniatures. That's a lot of miniatures.
I think that's the thing. Like that can scare, not so much scare people, but put fear into them in some sense, because you'll look at a horde army and go, bugger, now what? And you realise, like with the orc one I'm doing, when we started getting all the templates, I've still got another over close to 500 models still left to do. Yeah. And even I was like, I think I might have bit off more than I can chew, and in my head's going, no, you're fine. I'm like, yeah, it's all cushy.
Everything's fine here.
So during that, when I paint that swarm up, I'm going to be sleeping on my couch the entire time. Sleep on my couch, just live off in one room, and I'm all cushy.
I think the problem I have with Swarm Army is the painting, the production line of painting, and I understand we've got an expert here who does this quite regularly, but for me, it would just drive me nuts. I mean, I'm struggling to paint another Green Marine at the moment because still, and that was just from Christmas doing those back to back, and going, oh my god, I can't do this anymore. To do another Horde Army and have that production line, I'm not a quick painter. That probably doesn't help.
Being a fast painter or a slow painter doesn't mean anything to painting so many minis.
Buddy is still trying to convince me that Blue Marines are better. I got the wrong tree here. Mark's just being nice and quiet about it. He's got Blue Marines.
Haters gonna hate.
To be fair though, I technically have Ultramarines, but they're all painted up as my Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah.
And then my Alpha Legion are all Loyalists.
Yeah, I've got Blue Marines. They're librarians. Yeah, with green shoulder pads. Still waiting for my Salamander buddy, but yeah, no rush. My head is aching. What else we got to talk about? Sorry.
How do you paint so many minis was on there as well.
Yeah. How do you paint so many miniatures all at once? There you go.
I don't bloody know. It depends on what you're doing. It depends on the atmosphere and mood you can get yourself into. For myself, it's more tunnel vision I get. So it's like my sort of like a zone. I will get tunnel vision so I can only see straight ahead, and my eyesight completely fades on both left and right sides. So I can only focus on that. But it's essentially like stages. So like getting stuff on like sprue. So you got like a line of 10 models on some sprue or on like lollipop sticks and stuff like that. You like prime them all first, do all your base coats first, then wash it down. Whilst those ones are dry, and you start on the next 10, and then stuff like that. So it varies.
You're painting them assembled or bits at a time?
For me, it depends on the model.
Okay. Because I know you were drilling out a whole lot of orc arms and stuff like that. What was the theory behind that?
We were going to magnetize the entire army.
Oh.
But with recent events, we're like, no, we better not do that, because we worked it out. It was around about £500 of magnets. It was around about 10,000 magnets. We would need 2x2s, M52s, high quality. So it's it's a lot of magnets. So
you said
with
no.
that
And that's not even into the effort of fitting every single one.
Yeah, making sure the polarities are right, and we kind of went, yeah, we're not doing that.
I'm glad there is a limit to the work here, you know.
Magneto.
There kind of isn't due to basing because of the free. So like if you're doing like details like freehand, you would always leave that till last because that's the most time consuming, and stuff like that. But at the same time, I've got to like sand down a load of the models because they're all being painted up as in Norse mythology schemes. So it's for me, I don't practice a scheme. I just go, let's go for it, and off we go. So
Nice.
I have no idea. I'm only going by reference images that I can't see because I'm colorblind. So I have to gauge it.
Yeah. You're gauging very well. Very good miniatures coming out. Do you ever paint just one miniature at a time?
No.
Fair enough.
I don't. With one of the recent ones I've been doing, my halflings, I've had close to a halfling foot troops on my table, close to probably around, I think it's like 120 halflings on foot, and like around maybe 80 halflings riding armored dogs. So that would be just on one sort of desk sort of thing. At the minute, I've got a first edition Marauder army from Warpath sat at my desk with a Battletech commission. So that alone there is close to maybe 250 models on my desk at the minute.
Now, you did mention commission. I was going to say you do commission work, correct?
Yes.
And how do people get in contact with you to go, we want 4 million models painted. Please do this by the weekend.
Just message.
Just message.
It's literally, I've had it. So 2 of the people I do commissions for regularly, one of them's a Heresy Dark Angel player and a Tyranid player. That's where the Tyranids with the corked base with the plants, that was actually for a commission. And then the other guy, I do all their Battletech stuff. So I've done like a few Eldar bits and sort of thing. I do all sort of game systems. I'm not fussed. So I put my own personal feelings against companies with miniatures, and I go, okay, they're my own feelings. I'm not going to let that affect me doing the commissions.
Yeah.
So.
And do you choose, or do they choose the color scheme, or the speed, or the total amount of miniatures? And
they essentially the way I do it is I ask them like how many miniatures and stuff, and then I give them a rough time frame. So if it's BattleTech stuff, I can knock out anywhere between 30 to 50 robots in 2 days. Blood Bowl teams, I'm knocking out in 24 hours. It just varies on sort of the model aspect. If it's Tyranids, I could probably knock out a bug every smaller bugs, like maybe 100 models a day. Bigger ones, probably one every hour. Biotitan every 24 hours.
there you go, Mark. There's your standard you got to reach.
Well, I mean, when I first started my NIDS, I was cranking out a mini every 15 minutes. Doing that, but my problem is that I've always had a problem. Like I'm always balancing the I hate bad paint jobs with I hate painting. So
Yeah, I feel you on that one. It's like even when I do the painting, I've always said I'm not the best painter. I'm mediocre. I always say I'm mid tier. Because there are things obviously I need to improve.
But you're obviously not dipping them in the paint and then
Hanging
chucking
it
a
upside down.
smiley face on and calling it a model.
I've been tempted to do that several times.
Well, I was looking into doing the dipping for the NIDS because I was just over spending the time on it. I just couldn't bring myself to do it after I remembered a friend from high school who dipped his Guardians into straight up like the Citadel paint. That just all the detail was completely gone.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, I can't do this. They must be painted properly.
Yeah. Well, you could always dip wash them.
Yeah.
That would speed the process up. But if you're going to dip wash, I would highly advise you making your own.
Fair enough.
It is very. I can make 2.5 liters of any wash, any color I like for a tenner.
There you go.
I'm
The
getting.
big can probably
models
helps.
like this, yeah. It does help a lot. It just varies on different things. So yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to wrap it up. We've been going on for a while, and we're all feeling quite inadequate about what our painting efforts have been like. I haven't finished anything this year, and it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. No, we all paint our own pace. Some are very quick, and some are muck.
Yes.
In their own league
Don't
of
feel
speed.
ashamed if it has taken you more than a year to paint a model.
Yeah. I think this year alone I've maybe painted anywhere between 10 to 15,000 points and upward of probably 1,000 miniatures so far this year.
No.
Well, that's good. I'm glad somebody is motivated.
I'm really not. It gets tedious sometimes. When you sit there, and we used the Nighthaunt as an example, when you sat there painting 1,000 chain rats, it doesn't get easier, it gets harder.
I was thinking, you're saying chain rasp and Necrons. You can't get much more fiddlier models that can be broken quite easily if mishandled.
Yeah, I've had several breakages. A lot of my Nighthaunt is also all kit bashed as well. So
They're not breakages, they're battle damage.
Exactly.
definitely.
Yep.
All right, guys, we'll wrap this up. I did want to point out that we do have a new shirt available in that one, Bazza. Everyone should know Bazza from the RLG banner. He's now on a shirt, so you can actually have Bazza running around on your chest. That's right, Bazza the Blood Angel. And keep an eye out, there will be a Shazza the Salamander coming soon as well. We're excited. If you do want to help out and support the stream, of course, you can hit our merchandise store or words. Someone else take over, quick. No, they did. All right. So streamlabs.com/redbelly/merch will get you their merch store where you can find these t-shirts, mugs and hats and stuff, and we appreciate it. All the help we can towards this costs of fun that we do. I'm rambling. I'm trying to find buttons. There we go. Mango Smasher, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm really looking forward to the next challenge in the new year. As I've said, I've put my hand up to help out where I can. Whether that's just cry in the corner for you, I can do that as long as you continue paying.
There will be probably a lot of tears that we will need to get done during the 2 weeks.
It shall be great. I have been putting up your socials throughout the stream, so people who are visually seeing us as opposed to visually not seeing us, I don't know.
And are we going to shout out PWR again?
We will shout out PWR as well.
So for listeners, it's youthpwr.org.
Yes, well done. Thanks, Mark. So we've got this all over the place. Oh my God. Where are we going now? Our socials. No. Mango Smasher. Is there something you like to put out there so people can hear your socials? What's the best way to find you at the moment?
Best way to find me is Instagram or on Twitch. I'm actually going to be, after this, I'm actually going to be going live myself anyway. Because it's a content day. But if not, the YouTube channel is always a way to get hold of me or hold of any member of the team.
I was going to say the YouTube channel and Facebook is a studio. So it's more than just you.
Yeah, so for the Facebook and YouTube, it is classed as a team studio. There is 4 of us working on it. So there's multiple people that can help out, and you can get. You can get to hold of me through those, or via Twitch, or Instagram, or Twitter.
Beautiful. We could try and organise a raid straight after this, straight in, right? That's how it just works.
Yeah, so well, you never know. I've got to get a new drink and do a couple of bits, and then I'll be all set to go. I will be myself.
Beautiful, beautiful. Making sure everyone jumps on that. Adam, what's your Instagram?
So Instagram.
Sorry. Yep. Rose.
No, oh. So my Instagram is just Mango Smasher. So yeah.
Mango _ Smasher. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Adam.
I just found him. I just found her. She's like
What about your Instagram, Adam?
Pronto 40k. I think my one is.
Yeah, you're all over that. Red Belly Black is mine, as we should know that by now. And of course, if you're listening, the Twitch stream is Red Belly, and you can find me. Hopefully, it'll be back to normal this week after struggling with just life events. Good Nurgle's gift. Hopefully, we're back to normal. Yeah, we'll see. Mark, what about your social stuff?
My social stuff, I'm exclusively here.
Yeah, it's true. And the world appreciates that.
Yeah. I choose to believe so.
All right, folks, thank you for joining us. A big thank you to Mango Smasher for joining us on the Horde night, of course, and the challenge. And, oh my God, that's just far too many miniatures. It makes me just go, I don't know where I could put them. I'm struggling to put the ones I have now.
Yeah, I've got a higher storage locker.
The only modeler who has a sponsorship from storage lockers.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we will wrap it up there, and we will see you next month. I'm hoping to film our Tempestus versus Catachan, depending where, if I'm healthy or not. It might be this weekend, but we're also going to talk to Bulldust about lining that up. I don't think I've got anything else. I think I'm cooked and well and truly. I'm going to go away now and go and lie down. So, Mark, say goodnight.
Good night.
Adam, say goodnight.
Good night, all.
Mango, you can say whatever you'd like.
Afternoon. For me.
We don't have a radio mic to give the usual sign off, and I'm not going to try and do it. So it's a good night from me. And join us next month for the next episode of Wobbly Player Syndrome. Until then, people, be good to each other. Good night.
See ya.
Night.
Bye.